Cordia, that's Fáilte Road, go Park and Crokig. Today we have our practical exhibition of games-based coaching approach in Croke Park under the guidance of Eamon Ryan.
Yeah, what we'll do, we'll approach the art of kicking or the correction of kicking technique through the medium of a games-based approach. Play a game for 6 or 7 minutes, and then we'll intervene and work on the technical aspect. Do a little drill, then return to the game, and it'll continue like that. And towards the end of the session, we'll have what we call a little kicking exam where the players just test their skills.
Eamon calls this the central goal game. And the object of the game is kick the ball over the bar from outside the circle of cones. So there's two teams, one in bibs and the other in their colour. And they can't attempt to score until they're outside until they're outside the circle. So there might be a lot of passing before somebody gets into a position to score. All the 13 of the players are right-footed, and there's one left-footed player. Players are allowed to hand pass the ball and cross the square or cross the circle, but they can't attempt to kick at scores until they're outside the circle. So the players are engaged in decision making, they're engaged in team play, they're engaged in fairly heavy physical action. They're using a big space there for 7 aside. Okay, Eamon is taking his first intervention now.
Still, there were a few wides. How many fellas got a wide? How many fellas had a wide? Yeah, and that'll happen, everyone. That happens to every player ever. Like, think of John Terry in the Champions League final. 150,000 a week and he misses a penalty. In a way, a goal 3 yards wider than that. So why wouldn't you miss, or why wouldn't I miss? There was a fellow at the time you were born, the year you were born, a fellow Roberto Baggio from Italy, missed a penalty against Ireland. The ball even went out over the back of the stadium, didn't find it yet. So, like, you're bound to miss, so you just forget it. Learn from your mistakes. So we'll work now on our technique for 2 minutes over here at the small goal. When I'm kicking the ball, my head is vitally important. 1 or 2 of the wides there came because guys did this, look. Just as they were going to kick, they looked up and the ball hit their foot at the wrong angle. So what you've got to do, and it's a very hard thing to do, it's very easy for me to tell you to do it. It's very hard for you under pressure. Because, you know, you want to score. You want your name in the paper, the fellow which you wants to score. So you've got to keep looking at the ball. 2 hands, 1 hand, look at the ball. And the ball goes, even though I didn't kick it hard, it still goes 20 metres. Head part of it. The hands part of it is 2 hands. I'm going to kick with my right leg. So if you watch the Gooch, Bernard Brogan, Diarmuid Connolly, any of those guys kicking, just as they go to kick with their right leg, the ball goes from 2 hands into the right hand and over the bar. You see, if you keep looking at the ball, you're going to make good contact with your foot. If you lift your head, the chances are the ball could hit your foot anywhere and go astray. That's all it is. So it's 2 hands, 1 hand, and take particular notice of the non-kicking leg, the other leg. It steps forward a little bit. So 2 hands, 1 hand, and you see it's still going 20 metres, even though I'm not making any fierce effort. Do you understand, lads? It's not about power, it's about technique. Everybody to get a ball, and any spare ball, throw it in behind the goals, right? Now, when we go down to the blue cone, there's a blue cone at the edge there. You'll start soloing out, and when you come to the blue area below, you kick a point. We're going to have a time trial, so we'll practice for 1 minute. Go.
So Eamon has spoken to his players. and all the human skills of empathy and understanding. He has explained to them that making a mistake is absolutely normal, but if you develop your technique, you could lower the number of mistakes you make and thus increase your enjoyment. So almost everything that Jan Cote put in his presentation, Eamon has embodied that for the last 20 years. So now the children are getting ample opportunity to solo out to the blue cone area, turn onto their good foot, practice their technique. And when he's happy that they're all confident and competent, he'll put them to a time trial and thus give them the challenge. And in our own GA definition, the coach's role is to assist and challenge and thus build competence. The player is developing his own kicking style.
Okay, guys, the Crowden meet got 28 points in a minute and a half. Can we beat that? You must shoot from outside the line, right? A minute and a half. Now, remember, you have to balance between going at 100 miles an hour and kicking carefully. So you might slow to 80 miles an hour just as you go to kick. It's better to slow to 80 and get your point than to kick a wide at 100 miles an hour. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, lads, we're going to beat the meat crowd now, right? 28 points is the target. Go.
So the clock is running now for 90 seconds. The players can go as hard as they like. And William is counting the scores. The target is 28, so it's assist and challenge. Players are under maximum pressure to get back and go again. And Eamon is using the skill of observation. So Eamon keeps giving constructive feedback to all the players. And even though it's only 90 seconds, some players are already tiring from the effort. Okay, 90 seconds is up. 31. So, well done. So now Eamon is going to take them to the far side of the field and work on their left foot or their weaker foot. There's one player who's stronger on his left, but the 13 others are right-footed players. The coach's ability to set a proper target is vital in their coaching. So in the first round, Eamon was assessing the number, and then he set a target from that. So he thought 28 would be a very worthwhile target, but the players achieved 31, which means their confidence now in their ability to kick is soaring. So Eamon has gained a lot of trust with his players. Eamon now is re-demonstrating on the weaker foot. 2 hands, 1 hand, eye on the ball, and follow through. So Eamon is reassuring the players that failure won't matter here as long as they have the confidence to have a go at their weaker foot. And he will set a figure then way lower than the 31 because they're on the weaker foot. So they're on the 90 seconds time trial now. So you can see the value of the stopping nets and you can see the value of having sufficient footballs. Every player is getting more kicks than they would get in maybe 7 or 8 games of real games. So when the game starts again, they should be more proficient. So they have 30 seconds left. They have 20 scores, they have 25 seconds. They need to get 8 more scores. So they've broken the record score of 34. Bolabas. So the players are forced into another area of choice now. They can go for the certainty of their good foot, or they can go for the bonus point, risk losing everything, and that's the sign of confidence growing in the player then. So we're playing the central goal game, the exact game we started off with, and we'll all be looking to see what improvements are in the players. So we'll be looking now to see how much confidence in the boys. Will they go for the weak foot, or will they go back to the old ways? But we're going back to our games-based coaching now. We have done our intervention. We should see an improvement. Good boy.
Who's the guy that got the bonus score? Fair play to you, aye. Good man. And there was another guy who had a disappointing shot down there towards the end of the game, and then he got a superb point here. Where's that guy? Remember? Tom, yeah. So like it just shows you'll ups and downs, you'll make mistakes, but that's the way you learn, and they don't get you don't let the mistakes get you down. Now what we're going to do now, lads, I've revised the technique a few times with you, so you know now it's 2 hands, 1 hand, look at the ball. We're going to have a little match now. We're going to take 2 kicks on the blue cones and 2 kicks on the white cones, right? Keep your score. Be honest. Holy God is watching. Right, lads, come on. Quick now. 2 shots on the right, 2 shots on the left. A ball each you do, yeah.
So each boy will get 10 kicks. He keeps his own score, which means there's a trust there between the player and the coach. And Eamon then will assess after that how we're doing. So Eamon is keeping the players focused. He noticed that the head is coming up a lot, so he keeps reassuring them if the head stays down, the ball will go over the bar. If it happens, then the boy becomes intrinsic to himself, and Eamon won't have to tell him anymore.
One of the things I noticed, right, in the game, some of the kick passing needs to be improved a bit, right? So we'll just play a little small game here. We have 4 at the yellow cone, 4 at the red cone, 3 at the white and 3 at the blue there. Quickly now, we're getting short on time. Quickly now, lads. 4 on the yellow, 4 on the red. Quick now, boys. You only need 1 ball. 1 ball. 1 ball. Stand in behind each other. Now the guy with the ball is the captain. You're facing this way. Facing this way. Facing up the field. The guy with the ball is the captain. He keeps the score. All you're doing is soloing out to the cone in front of you and kicking the ball back. It's a score if the next fella catches the ball. If it hits the ground or goes away, no score. Go. Straight line, straight line. Now catching. If it's caught, it's a score. First team to 5 scores, hold the ball up. Anyone on 5? Willem, the scoring exam. Anyone on 5? 5, okay, hold it. Now, this time, you go crisscross. Look, yellows, you'll go to the blue, you'll go to the white, you'll go to the red, you'll go to the yellow. First team to 5, go. Fast. Well done, boys, well done. Careful kicking now. You're kick passing to a colleague. Oh, that's not a colleague. Well done. Careful kicking, boys, careful. This is a way more difficult than it looks. Well done, lads. Okay, lads, we'll hold it at that and we'll play the 3rd game. Whoever gets the 5 there will be the winner. It gets a bit more difficult now. It gets very like the match now where you're kicking across a crowd. You go to your own colour. You're going to the yellow. You're going to the red. You're going to the white. And you're going to the blue. So you're going to be a lot of bodies and a lot of footballs around. So you have to be very careful. You know, if you kick a long foot pass, it has to get to the target. Go, lads.
So Eamon is creating as much difficulty for the players as he can. Try and disorientate them so that when they lose their position in the match, that they still keep their cohesion and still keep their focus. They're running across a lot of bodies. They're kicking across a lot of bodies. And the receiver needs to be focused and the kicker needs to be focused. Well done.
So now we'll go on to this kicking test. What this is really something you can take home, something 2 or 3 of you can go to the training field and work with each other. And even all-star fellas that have done this, nobody gets to 100%. This is a very difficult thing. People are always talking about the great kickers long ago. They kick just as many wides long ago, way more, some of us. So you just kick, get your technique right. You're going to be kicking right-legged, left-legged. So we'll start with everybody going to what's the far off cone, Willem? The blue. We'll have 7 guys at the blue, say one set of bibs, and 7 guys at the one here, the red one.
2 shots at the yellow cone. The boys in the bibs. 2 shots on the white cone on their left. Away we go. So we can see an immediate return. The boys can see an immediate return on the work done so far, which is only about 30 minutes. So 2 shots at the yellow cone for these, 2 shots at the whites. Now the boys kicking on their left come over here. Back to the red here, boys.
Just one thing I noticed there now. Boys, you notice there with the pressure that even though you know about the head, hands and the feet, you notice that with the best will in the world, you will bring your head up. Everybody does it. John Terry did it. Mikey Sheehy did it up there in 1982, one of the greatest players ever. It happens to everyone. So, but you must talk to yourself. Keep your head down. Look at the ball. 2 more shots, left-legged and right. Go.
John was there, yeah. Yeah.
Ah, brilliant score.
So Eamon keeps reassuring. He keeps reassuring the boys. When a boy makes a mistake and his team, he feels bad about it, but Eamon keeps reassuring them and he keeps restoring them to technique. He keeps refocusing them on technique all the time. So the all boys have 4 kicks taken now and they come to the centre. So they'll move from the centre to the right, kick with the right, or move from the centre to the left and kick with their left. So if boys moving to the yellow must kick left. Very difficult skill. So technique now is being tested to the limit. Very high percentage of scores now. And a very high percentage of good kicking. Now they're reversing now. The boys who kicked left are now kicking right. And the boys who kicked right are kicking left. So but the boys are being prepared for the demands of the game. All their own needs are being met. They're playing full time. But in their own deliberate practice, as Jan Cote says, they may shy away from using their weak leg. They may not get enough satisfaction. But after today's practice, they should be a lot more comfortable working on the weak foot.
Last 2 shots, boys. We've 8 shots taken. You know, like doing an exam, the last question could be the one. You might have messed up a bit, but you've still a chance. So you're going to 14 of you are going to start at the yellow. And when you come to the middle cone here, you kick with your right leg. When you've that done, you'll all start at the white and kick with your left leg from here. And you'll have 10, and then we'll have the results.
95% of all scores scored here in Croke Park are kicked. And 90% of the scores are scored in the D zone. So he's putting them right into where their senior counterparts will be right during the summer. So they turn the corner and kick on the right. And every team in Ireland this year will be trying to set up the scores in that zone and put the ball over the bar. So they're meeting the demands of the game. So they're coming back down the left. The final score. From that then every boy will get his percentage. And if he's 65% or 50%, he knows where he is in reality. So Eamon is supporting them now. Every boy is having their commitment. So Eamon is getting as much satisfaction as the boys are from their kicking.
Right, boys. The day of reckoning. After dossing all year, the results are in. Any fella get 100? Did you? First fella ever. Would you believe him? Come here, thanks very much, lads. You know your own score. So, like, I'd say you'll all agree now, you can all improve. Any fella like to tell me how you get? 70? 80? Yeah, here's something now. And Noel started this in the last week of October. And he took 20 shots, which is twice. He took 4 everywhere you took 2. He got 65%. And he said, I know I must practice now, like, and he's an all-star, like, I know all-star. He is an All-Ireland medal, I know All-Ireland medal. But he said, first thing he said, jeepers, he didn't say jeepers either. He's, I have to practice, he says, I must do more kicking. And you could do that on your own, couldn't you, with a group of fellas? You wouldn't need a coach, it's something you could do on your own, like, and there's a bit of crack. Just before we finish up, so thanks very much, lads. Having never met you before, it was a pleasure working with you, right? And thanks to your mentors. Derek, thanks very much. And Vincent and the 2 Knowles, thanks very much. And thanks to everyone in Ballyborden. And thanks to the crowd.
Okay, good minute,